Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Look at that. It is Tuesday. Had to put on a headband because my hair needs to be retwisted, but that's okay. I see, yes, guest for today, co-host. Hey, Kai. How you doing? Hey, everybody. Afternoon. Welcome to our live tip one a couple of weeks ago with the beautiful, amazing Zakia Monique, and it was so inspiring, so encouraging. Just her talking to us about being whole as women, and so we wanted to jump back on today to do another special episode, Tip Tuesday. And today we are actually going to be hitting on a subject that is pretty controversial. Controversial. Hey, hey.
What it do?
Hello. I was just getting everybody all kind of juiced up. I was telling them, a couple of weeks ago, we did a Tip Tuesday with the
What's
beautiful
up, Danielle?
Zakia Monique. Hello. And so we decided that it would be good. Hey, Gemma, it would be great to jump on again and have this conversation about a topic that actually is quite controversial. It's controversial for a couple of reasons, but one that we're going to highlight is the difference in the Black community and the way we were treated as we went through addictive, as we go through, I should say, not went through, but as we go through these stages. Yes, Gemma, that's right with your notifications. As we go through these different stages and trying to balance our experience with addiction and how it's been treated as it relates to the medical or any other community, any other nationality outside of Black people. And that is a conversation around opioids, a conversation around addiction and how do we prevent that? Yep. What does that say? Because it's backwards.
Protect Black women.
Protect Black women. That's nice.
That's for the love. You know, my man had to get me together.
Yes, that's nice. So we're here, T and I, your Coco moms, and T has a very deeply rooted experience, we'll say, as it relates to addiction. And so I want to start off one just by asking you to just again shout yourself out for the people in the back who clearly have been living under a boulder. It wasn't even a rock over this past year as things have been jumping and going. But just share a little bit about yourself, and then we're gonna jump into this conversation for these few minutes that we're on with people today.
Dang, right. That's the part of the question I hate. A little bit about myself. I'm an African-American disabled veteran from the U.S. Army, Army Strong. What's up, Battle? Y'all know Jim about Battle. Let's see. I am a recovering pill addict. What's up, Nay? A prescription pill addict, opioids. And we're going to talk about that today. I am also an advocate for love, for life, for living. I'm in my healing journey, which is a lot of different things that have come to revelation between last July 5th and now. I am VP of Community Relations here at Coco Life. Black, turn up. President and founder of the Pearson Experience. If you don't know about it, go check me out, the TPX.com. Half of Candid Convos with T and Kia. I don't even know how many temps or whatever of the Chew panel. Half of the Trauma to Triumph group of Angela on Mondays, Quincy McCall show. Like, I'm all over the place. So a little bit of everything. But the biggest piece, I think, is that I am an advocate for life, man. And you know, one of my first businesses was Love Advocates. And that was just one of the things that I wanted folks to be able to, what we say, travel the trajectory of love of self. And so that's kind of been my ground root for everything that I do, is to show love and to give love, and also hopefully to receive it back. So, yeah. Wow. I think that's my interview answer I give when people are like, well, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to get into all of it because all of it is you.
And my parents are drug addicts, so I suffer from CBT, which is why I'm your CBT Coco mom. But y'all can research to figure that out.
Right. And so I think that it is our experiences, it's the work we do today, it's the work we've done and will do that kind of shapes us. It's not only who we are, but it's a huge part of
What's
it.
up, Silk Mermaid?
So to everybody who's tuning in, this is our special edition Tip Tuesday check-in. And today, T and I are having a conversation about opioids and how you can become addicted to opioids, how to avoid becoming addicted. Thank you so much. We love you too. Love your locks, ladies.
Thank you.
And how we can help our community, all right, navigate this conversation, because I think there's a lot of it. Not I think, I know many of us are traumatized by what we see happening as it relates to the opioid crisis, right? That is a crisis. It's a crisis with these, current culture and current impacted people. In the
What's
80s,
up, Shantae?
it was a crack epidemic that demonized us, villainized us, and left many of us in dire strength and left for dead by our communities, by our government.
And don't forget the war on drugs. Don't forget
and that whole war on drugs, the super predators, and all of that, simply because it was happening to us. But here we are, fast forward 30 some odd years later, and somehow hey Nikki, we are dealing with a opioid crisis. And so one, start with that. Like, why do you think today we see a crisis, right? Today we see an opioid crisis when years ago, or over 3 decades ago, we saw it as our community being demonized. And I remember my mom used to always say, we don't have no planes. We're not getting, how this stuff is being dropped into our communities. So for those of you who are tuning in, join this conversation too. Drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A forum. But T, first, let's start there, and then we're going to get into your own journey. But start there. Why do you think it's like this difference? Why is it a crisis for them and a disaster criminalized for us? Right. What you say? What you say?
For the visual learners.
Right.
That's the difference. Because what's up, Brittany? Because back in the day, right, we had the war on drugs, right? We had the crack epidemic, and the crack epidemic, tore communities up. I'm a crack, CBT sufferer. And so like a lot of us from the 80s, we grew up in that era, right? And so the war on drugs simply locked up our people and from our community. And for crimes that the government is profiting off of now. Okay, that's one. For two, if it wasn't affecting their community, then it wasn't an issue. And so opioids, right? Pills, let me tell you what the fuck, pills, Percocets, Oxys, Dilaudid, all of those things that get into your body and adapt your brain function. That's what I'm talking about, opioids. And so those opioids only became a problem when the folks within a community started taking so many that their clinics was running out of them. And so now we got to look into it. Let's look into it. What's going on? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Well, let's supply more to certain communities. We're going to just give more so that you guys can get your prescriptions filled, this and this. But then when we get on them for pain initially, right? Then for some people, this new generation, they just taking pills to take them, which is that's a whole nother thing that I got an issue with. But, it becomes a crisis once it affects them. And that goes for everything. I think about when I did work for sex trafficking, right? It was child prostitution when it was our kids. Them kids out there selling themselves, where their parents at, where this, where that. But then in the multi-million-dollar neighborhoods, started getting busted because they was having the parties in the houses and everybody kids and da-da-da-da-da. Then it was like, oh my God, we have a sex trafficking ring. Right. Child labor, human trafficking of these kids.
Right. Now they're kids.
Now they're kids. They was child prostitutes when they was our babies. Right. And so I think the language makes a difference on the audience to which they're trying to target, right?
Exactly.
But like Shantae said, when they hit white communities, now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem.
We suffer all the way around, right? But we don't get the resources. We don't get the education. We don't get the conversations when it affects us.
You bring up a very valid point, and this is for another conversation, but just to lift up even what happened with the Asian and Pacific community, Asian and Asian
Baby, come on,
Pacific
let's get it.
community, and
I was waiting. Come on.
how they were being affected, right? So when they were being attacked, now all of a sudden the government started throwing millions of dollars towards not only research, but supporting to ensure the safety. We've been being killed by persons who are supposed to protect us, Black men, Black women, Black kids,
Protect Black
indifferent.
women.
And somehow we don't get a coin, but sometimes a hashtag and, you know, the occasional, hey, we're fighting for you, and the phone
We're
call,
here.
you know, that the
Keep pushing
like
forward.
this, you gotta stay strong. You know, we have to be strong, right? Our community has to be strong and vigilant, while other communities can be vulnerable. So we have to be
And
vigilant
victimized.
right. And
Right,
somehow
Charlotte, you
we're
what you say?
villainized, right? We're villainized. It's Black on Black crime when we do stuff. When they do stuff, it's, you know, tragedy and victim. So
And it's from their childhood. They had fucked up childhood. So that's why they went and shot up their school.
right.
That's why they went and killed
They
their parents.
they needed
Because
resources. So
the community
that's fun.
failed them. The community
Yes.
failed them.
Yep.
The community failed them. Where our kids go? The pipeline.
The pipeline.
The prison industry. You hear me?
Yep.
So yeah. But I wanna say real quick what like the Silk Mermaid said, laws and amendments were created instantly, period, for the
Yeah.
API. Period.
Yeah. Yes.
And she
Instantly.
also said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say they were created instantly. And one of the things I was going to lift up that she said is that I know mental health is a huge factor.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And it is. And it's major because when we look at the definition of opioid, it says a compound resembling opium and addictive properties or physiological effects, right? So opioids come in many different forms, and share again what different forms you mentioned for people who are just now tuning in. What are the different, going back to that conversation, what are the different forms that we see opioids come in?
And I'm gonna address that mental health thing too. So the opioids is your Dilaudid, your Perks, your Oxys, your Valiums, your Vicodins. You see what I'm saying? All of those kind of things that are synthetic opioids, because your body produces natural opioids. It's called endorphins. So when you get hurt and when you get excited, you have something pleasurable, your body's like, yeah, girl, we excited. So then your body releases them endorphins and your body get the partying, or you stump your toe on the edge of that bed. You're like, but you hop just for a little bit. You don't go to the hospital, because guess what? Your natural painkillers, your dopamine has kicked in. Right?
Yeah.
And so when we get pain, your dopamine come in and it's like, all right, neurons, guess what? We got an announcement. We got some pain. We're going to take care of it. So they send out their little level of dopamine soldiers. They link to your pain, take it away. Right? So what happens is when you get on opioids, let's start at the emergency room. Yeah, and for those that don't know me, man, I've been in a hospital so many damn days in my life that is ridiculous. And most of that was from stuff that could have been prevented. Right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit with this opioid thing. But what I found out is that when I go to the emergency room, before I knew I was an addict, right? The first thing I was like, oh, I got pain. This is this, this, and this. The first thing they say is, okay, we're going to give you something for pain. That first thing for pain is not a Toradol. That's what I get now when I go to the hospital. I get Toradol. That's not a narcotic. It's basically a big ass Motrin in the IV. And so that's what I get, right? And so what happens is when they give you that first thing, it goes into your bloodline. And so once that bloodline is connected to that synthetic opioid, they go into your receptors, your opioid receptors. And they're like, oh, what's this? We got something extra, because that synthetic opioid dumps a boatload of dopamine.
Yeah.
So your natural don't only gave you a little bit. It was like, we're going to just sprinkle it. We're going to sprinkle it on there. But then you have your synthetic opioid. So when you take that pill, when you get that IV of morphine or whatever, then your body dumps so much more. That's why you get high. So that's when you get that high feeling, because now your body's in this overload of dopamine. So you get high, you get pain relief, you get all of these different things that feel so damn good, right? And so once you feel good, then you get sent home. You get sent home with a prescription. Yeah. So what I found out that even after just about a week's use of opioid, it causes permanent brain damage. Because then it goes from your middle of your brain. Now the receptors are talking to your frontal cortex, which is your memory, which is your decision making, which is your behavior, which is a lot of us addicts are fucked up individuals. Excuse me, Coco Life. I was talking to my people on my page. Look, I'm talking to my page over there. But you know, it's like once you get that taste and your body gets that taste, that your body partying. Your body partying with them opioids, and then what happens is now it's time to take some more. So when you coming down, or as people will call withdrawal, when you coming down, your body is going through like craziness because your body is so used to them dopamine being released. It's used to your neurons talking and sending signals and all of that. But as the more you take these opioids, you're killing your opioid receptors in your body. And so once you know, do all this for years, them junks are gone. So what happens is you kind of resort back to, prime example, I was on pain pills, shit, probably almost 20 years, right? I'm going into my 5th year of sobriety, thank God. But when I tried, right, to get off, because it's a wheel of cycle. So when I tried to get off myself, what happens? Your body kind of processes through, and then you kind of go through withdrawal. What's up, Ave? Then you kind of go through this withdrawal process. So that withdrawal process is your anxiety. It's your anger. Like when I tell you that I was in rehab with a heroin addict that bought their shit off the street, and our treatment plan was the same. I got mine from a pharmacy. She got hers off the street. Hers was heroin off the corner. Mine was synthetic from a manufacturer. Right. But the process, the recovery, my withdrawal process was the same as them shorties did. So it's the same damn thing. And so when you go through that withdrawal, what's up, Ave? So when you go through that withdrawal, your body is like, we missing something. Wait a minute, something is missing, because what normally would have been released, your natural endorphins. What's up, Mother Earth? Thanks for joining us today. What your body was used to receiving is not receiving, because all of your transmitters are jacked up. You done killed them with the pills. So now you ain't on the pills. So now you got to figure out, damn, things that used to make me happy don't make me happy no more. This is what it said when I did my research on opioid, right? So it says, you know, you begin to lose interest when you go through withdrawal, and then your body starts to go through these processes. And so you get at a crossroad. You at this crossroad. Either you're going to sit in this, the things that not used to the things that you used to be used to. I said, I heard that before. Right. That sounds like depression. Right. That sounds like depression, because your body now is coming off of these pills that was supplying this boatload of dopamine that your body wasn't prepared for. So now you ain't got shit going in your body to make you excited. So because of that, we suffer from depression, which is why I tried to kill myself 4 times. What, in about a month or 2? And because I was trying to come off of pills, and my depression got so bad that it was crazy. But so that's what happens. And so either you're going to go through rehab and kind of do, you know, what you're going to do, or you're going to take that pill, because either way, you got to try to stop what's going on at that moment. Another piece I want to lift up, though, is that medical assisted recovery, or medical assisted treatment. I think they say recovery. Right? AKA methadone, AKA Suboxone. And I can tell you, that shit ain't nothing but another legal way to get people connected and drugged. Yeah. When I first tried to get off of, I was on Dilaudid. That was my drug of choice, mixed in with a whole bunch of stuff. I was talking to Ann earlier about how when I came home from rehab and I went to her house, because, you know, I couldn't go home by myself. I mean, when I came from the mental health, when I came from the psych ward before I went to rehab. And I had 12 to 15 pills I had took out of my little lunchbox, and I set them out on the table. And I remember her coming over and she's like, what you about to do with them? I said, I'm about to take these. She's like, do you really need to take all of those? And I said, yeah. Now, it was a need, because I had got my body programmed to receive all of that. Yeah. And so I would take Dilaudid mixed with about 300 milligrams of Benadryl, mixed with some muscle relaxers, mixed with something to coat my stomach, like all of these different things, because I became a chemist in my addiction. Right. But I didn't know I had an addiction until I couldn't stop taking it by myself.
Because how about that? You know, many of us, and this goes for so many different.
What's up, Tori? What's up, Tasty Sauce? Welcome, y'all.
Hey, Reds. For those of you who are just tuning in, it's your Coco Moms here, Alexia, and T, and we are having a conversation about overcoming opioid addiction. We know that, and we're using that language intentionally. Okay. Correct. Because again, what we lifted up earlier is that when it comes to our communities, the Black communities, and other minority communities, but specifically we're talking about our Black community. When we were have been going through the pain and the
Thanks,
struggles,
Dante.
thank you so much, for your transparency. I used to do the same thing. I became a chemist as well. Yes.
Yes, you learn
it
it.
becomes because you start to learn it, right? Because here's the thing that we forget, right? Repetition is key.
Yes.
And so when you ever heard the term used, oh, I know something by heart, right? I'm like, oh, I know that song by heart. You know it by heart because it started here. You kept saying it over and over and over and over and over, and then it became ingrained in you. And that's the same thing with everything that we can become addicted to, whether it's opioids, whether it's alcohol, whether it's food, whether it's gossiping, whether it's shopping, whether it's surgery, and we're going to get into that.
Period.
Plastic surgery.
Listen, you know that's what I'm saying.
All kinds of surgeries, like all of these things that we can become addicted to. And so we become professionals and experts in it because of our trauma, because of our struggle. And nobody wants to lift that up, right? Nobody wants to listen to the addict. You want to listen to the person with the PhD or the MD, the DO or MD or whatever, because you feel like they know it all. But there's a balance.
Right, sex is definitely another addiction.
Sex. But there's a balance to that because you got to be able to understand the addict's perspective. And so in seeing loved ones of mine go through the trauma, not just T, but my mother, my grandmother go through this pain of trying to address a pain inside, right? From an emotional pain to a physiological pain to a physical pain. So I want to ask you that question, T. There was a physical pain that you were feeling, right, when they were first prescribed. But what other pains kind of kept this cycle going? What other pains did you start to experience that kind of kept making that be the go-to, like the choice, even outside of just the physical pain, like the surgery or the migraines or the things like that? What other pain?
Man, trauma. You know what I'm saying? I think that at a certain point, my addiction continued because it allowed me to not feel my trauma. And then the work that I do, you know what I mean? Like I've always been the type that did work with the underserved community or the forgot about community. And so when I'm dealing with them and their trauma, sometimes it's triggering for me. And so the fastest thing for me to do is to take a pill. If I had to go and do a recovery, you know, for a kid that's been trafficked, or I had to go do an intake, or, you know, I'm working with a homeless child or whatever, like I would take pills because it would dumb down my emotion so that I can just focus on what I needed to do, right? But I was able to excuse it because I was in pain, right? And so I was able to hide it from y'all. I was able to hide it from y'all for a long time.
A really long time. And you're a disabled veteran, so we were like, oh, okay, you know, she got to have this. So it's and then of course the way you were getting it, right? Like you said, it was coming through a written prescription and not a needle, so to speak.
Yeah. And even when I had to have like to the point where it was like I got my pick line in, and like who ain't gonna tell me I ain't in pain when I'm walking around with a damn pick thing in my arm. You see what I'm saying? And so for you guys that's watching, my village, most of them didn't, even if they knew, they didn't say anything to me. I'll say that. Until I spoke to them when I went to my rites of passage program, and I had a meeting with them, and that's when I had to tell just about everybody that was close to me that I'm not just taking these pills because of pain. I'm taking it because, not physical pain. I'm taking them because of all of these other pains, right? The trauma. It's the not feeling good enough. It's the depression. It's the shit, every damn thing that I kind of went through in my life. But because of the pill addiction, it has jump-started more mental health issues for me, because like we talked about, when you not on it, you go through this depressive state. Shit, when you on it, over a certain amount of time, you go through this depressive state because now your connections to people is not the same. You're not used to the same thing that you want to do. I just wanted to take my goddamn pills.
Yeah.
But you want to go bowling? Come on, we can go bowling. But guess what? I need to go get a drink because I need to take my pills, right? And so, and a couple times a day, and like even now I can look back at old videos and old pictures, and I was like, damn, I was high as shit back then. But people, it doesn't look the same. It's not called the same for us, man.
No,
it's not. It's not called the same. It's not look the same. And before we move to that surgery thing, what I learned today, and I put it in our question of, is addiction a chronic disease?
Mm-hmm.
And so my answer from the research that I've done is yes, like diabetes, like hypertension, because what happens is even after a couple days of usage of an opioid, it destroys your brain. It
Yeah.
causes permanent brain damage, even after a week of usage, right? So I've been on them Jones about 20 years.
Right.
No
Multiply
wonder
that.
I'm fried. No wonder I was having memory issues when I was back and forth to the hospital. No wonder I was in the hospital for 27 straight days with a migraine.
Yeah.
And they was pumping me Dilaudid every 4
I'm about to
hours.
say, and they're giving you more on top of that.
Every 4 hours. Every 27 days, I need y'all to hear that. 27 days in the hospital for a migraine. That's what they diagnosed me for my complex migraines. I was in the hospital for 27 straight days. I lost track of so many days because I was high around the clock. IV Benadryl.
Yeah.
Okay, at least 100 milligrams with the Dilaudid, and I was getting Percocets in between the time with the Dilaudid, mixed in with like the steroids for the pressure on my brain and all this other shit that started just to happen. I had heart medicine because the migraine medicine was affecting my heart.
Right.
I almost died so many times in the hospital.
Yeah.
Them telling my family she ain't gonna make it from
Yo,
going in
Tay,
with a
what's up?
migraine.
You know, one
Going
of
in
the
with a
things,
migraine.
so like the conversation that we're having right now, for those of you, shout out to, hey Tay, how you doing? The conversation we're having right now is about overcoming
Hey,
opioid
share this post
addiction.
with y'all folks.
But
Share this post right now with some people
yep,
that y'all know is taking pills and y'all know them. Send them over here with us because they don't understand what the government is doing with them with that pill.
yeah, because that's
That
what I was
shit
gonna
ain't made
say.
the last 6 hours.
This is a big business too, right? So our community, so again, it didn't become a crisis until it started affecting the other, people. When it was us in our community, when it came to crack, when it came to crack, rock, cocaine, all of that, for us, it wasn't a disease, right? But the language that you just used is exactly what was pivoted. It is a disease. But when it was us, it was criminal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it went from
Mm-hmm.
being criminal to us. Oh, we can't manage our own communities. Oh, it's our fault. It's the black on black crime. Not it's the depressive nature
Y'all
because
better watch
they
Snowfall.
can't
Y'all
listen.
better watch Snowfall and figure out how them drugs
Please
got
watch
here.
that.
Figure
Because
out how
like
them drugs
again,
got here.
like my mom always said, we don't have planes. We don't own trains. We don't own pilots. As far as those who can fly the plane, that we don't
And
own that.
where we gonna
So
get a Japanese made weapon from?
where is it coming from? It's being our communities are being poisoned. But then what happened is it became elevated opioids, right? And so then it started to become popular amongst the others and their kids, like Tide Pods and foolishness like that. But that's another conversation.
Period.
And then it became a disease. And then the government started throwing millions of dollars towards
Research
the
funding.
crisis.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we're set here with hundreds of thousands of black men and women, right? Watch it today. Hundreds of thousands of black men and women and kids captive in prisons and like such because of us being villainized because of it, right?
Man,
Children without
it's
parents because of it.
It's even for the weed, man. Like, listen, we've
Right.
been buying weed off the street since reefer. But now the government was like, hold on,
We
wait
can
a
make
minute.
money off of this.
There's a gap. There's a gap. And so folks using weed instead of pills, let's get into that.
If they can find a way.
Let's punch, man. And them dispensary prices are fucking ridiculous.
You remember the prohibition time period, right? Well,
Baby,
we don't remember, but we remember hearing about the prohibition
yeah,
time, right? So if they can make $1 off of it, it will be legalized, right? And that's
absolutely. But
exactly.
they ain't free. But they didn't free our people that got locked up for
Nope.
having weed in their pocket when they got pulled over by the police illegally.
Right.
Okay. But
No.
the government making their money.
And then you got people coming in to try to save our communities that don't look like us. And want a badge of honor. And so we're not saying, because that's the common misconception too, but they don't want help. It's not, we want equality. We want equity. Excuse me.
Yeah.
We want equity.
Equity.
That's what we want. So all this talk about the buzzwords of diversity and inclusion and equality, we want equity. That's what we are pushing towards. And so T, just to pivot back really quick, for a couple of more minutes, I just want you to also share how this experience for you, right? So you said you're going on 5 years of sobriety, right? So amen to that. Thank God for the change and the
Percocet,
shift.
Molly
Okay.
Percocet.
Like, what do you say to someone who's watching this, watching the playback, or somewhere down the line is going to see this and be like, dang, man, that's where I'm at. Like, how do you start moving towards this healing process? Like, how do you even start? How do you even, what do you do for yourself?
Wow. Shit, I don't know. Every day is a challenge. I can say that. I can definitely say that. Because like I said earlier, everything that they was giving me pills for, I still have. I still got 6 herniated discs. I still got fluid on my brain. Now I'm in muscle deterioration where I probably ain't even gonna have no mobility if I listen to the doctors. I'll say that because the doctors ain't the final answer. But so I still have all of these pains that they were giving me pills for. And
Want to
babe,
live.
great, want to
That's
live,
right.
period.
You
So
gotta
everything
want to
they was
live.
giving me pills for, I had to look into my grandmother. Yo, my grandmother OD'd on perks.
Yeah.
I saw her take her last breath. I kicked the pill bottle under her bed as the paramedics was coming in the front door.
Yeah.
I didn't want my daughter to find me like that.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to find me like that. And I knew that that's where I was going because some addiction though, a good percentage of it comes from hereditary genes, right? And so we don't know that. You see what I'm saying? And so like my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my other grandparents, like I had this line of fucking addiction that I had no idea to pay attention to. Right. So it made me more susceptible to it. So when the doctor said, you are, let me tell y'all real quick. When I tried to come off of pills for one of these times, I got really depressed, as I said, a couple different times. I took pills, tried to drive off a bridge, all that shit. And then it got to my village. My village was talking to me, da-da-da-da. So I remember going to the hospital. My mother took me to the hospital because I was over it. Like, it got to the point where she was like, I don't feel safe with her. She don't feel safe with her. I didn't even feel safe alone at all. Yeah. And so when I went, this is what the ER doctor told me. You know, what's your history? What's going on? Da-da-da. And I'm crying. I'm talking to him like, I don't know. I just want to die. My body hurts so damn bad, but when I take the pills, I want to die even more. So, like, he says, well, you know, with all that you got going on, you have a right to be depressed. That's what the doctor told me. You have a right to be depressed with all that you got going on, but you'll be okay. Just give your medicine time to work.
Oh, there you go.
And so what did they do? They gave me some Ativan to zone my ass out, and they sent me on home. Someone who tried to kill themselves. You feel me? And so, like they did to Sandra Bland. The mental health part is so major because if you already have mental health concerns and then you are on opioids, that's another factor. Then you try to come off of opioids, that's another factor. So my advice to people is like, listen, first you got to be honest with yourself. And we talked about this Sunday on the Chew. You got to be honest with yourself about where you are. Don't worry about what people are going to think about you because they're going to talk about your ass even at your funeral when you OD. Period. Okay? Right. When you OD, they're going to be like, damn, y'all see who did her? Oh, she looked like herself, though. Damn, y'all see she took them pills. They're going to talk about you, whether you living or you dying. So you have to choose which one you want to do. And I chose, like Ave said, I chose to live. And so every day I'm in pain like a motherfucker. I am. Yeah. I am. But as I said on Sunday, I rely on my natural herbs. 420 friendly all day. Right. Meditation, prayer, village support. And allowing myself to process how I process. I cried so much damn stuff yesterday. I just cried. Yeah. Because sometimes it just gets to that. Where you gotta do that. Like you gotta do. I didn't know that though. I know. Had to give myself permission. That's what I want you to. That's what y'all gotta hear. And this goes for anything that we're going through. And I love listening to Ave when she shares her story and especially of being in a position where you feel so helpless and so hopeless. And there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, right? We know that God does answer prayers. And so you gotta want to live, right? And and we're not saying you don't, right? Because we know addiction is real. So, but once that desire to live becomes so much stronger than anything that society, doctors, and indifferent are trying to push towards you, then it becomes about pressing forward and then allowing yourself to have permission. Hey, have the permission, right, to feel. What's up, Veronica? Ronnie, have the permission to feel.
because
Yeah.
every trauma that you go through, everything that you go through is it puts you at an impasse, and it gives you a decision to make, a Y in the road. Am I going to go left or right? And whichever direction you go, even if you find yourself feeling discouraged and despair, you can always come back. That
Yeah.
why continues to come. You continue to have a choice. You got to stop. You got to challenge yourself on what it is that you're going through, and you got to make that choice. That stop, challenge, choose that we know, from many other ways that we can implement it. But like you said, T, you wanted to live. You realized that there was some genetics to it. That's the other piece too. Yes, that is real. So don't let them tell you, well, no, everybody's different.
Right.
It still is in
But
your
you got to
blood.
know that, though. You got to know
That's what
that
I'm
before you go
saying.
to the doctor. You
You
got to know
got to
that
know
before you go
this.
to the ER. Because I tell them quick. My whole village know if they take me to the hospital, the first thing is what? She can't have no
She
pain. She
can't
can't
have
have
no
no
pain.
narcotics.
Don't offer, and they'll still offer it. And we like, no.
Yep. And it got to the point where I was on, when I used to go for my, get my injections in my back for my herniated disc. He would do nerve blockers, put me to sleep, all of that. And when I wake up, the nurse always say, would you like a Percocet?
Right.
And I had to say, look, Joan, don't ask me. Put that on my chart. Put that on my chart. Because when you wake my ass up with a little bit of anesthesia, I might slip and say, yeah.
Right.
And by the time that Percocet hurt my system, I'm going to be somewhere in the back like this. My
Right.
receptor's going to be like, we back, baby. We back. And then I'm going to be somewhere Jones in trying to get a prescription and starting all over again. Because withdrawal and relapse is hush pills. That's what it is.
Yep.
Take this little pill and come back in 30 days. Let me know how I feel.
Go away.
And we can also uplift, when we talk about communities. Our communities have liquor stores, bail bondsmen, pawn shops, and pain management clinics now.
And don't
because
forget,
those pain
the
management
dialysis.
doctors.
We got all the
the dialysis.
because the dialysis really should be next to like the liquor stores because
right, because the gym next to the carry out. So whatever way it works for them for property value. But the thing is that they put us in positions where they want us to fail. And so knowledge is power, and knowledge is key. So the things that I know now about opioids, I wish I knew 20 years ago. When that doctor first said, I'm going to give you a pain prescription, I would have said no.
Yeah.
I would have said no, because I would have been able to know that I was susceptible to all of this shit on every corner.
Right, every corner.
My pain management doctor would give me anything that I want.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that again. Anything that I want. Because you know why? My test proves that I should have pain. Mm-hmm. My body language tells him that I have pain, and my mouth verbalizes that I have pain. So when he checked my urine and he don't see nothing but weed in it, he like, well, damn, you ain't got a prescription from me in a while, because I don't need your pills.
Right.
I just need to keep coming here so you can schedule my surgery that I got to get high as a cow off of marijuana, medical marijuana, before I go to. Because now I have surgeries without pain pills.
Right.
And I go through recovery without pain pills.
Right.
But because that's a conscious choice for me, that I know I can't take just one. This shit is like a Pringle for me. Once you pop, I can't stop.
Yep.
And so I'm going to keep going. And so that one pill will turn to me a whole prescription. And then my 5 years is down the drain. And because I come from this addictive bloodline, I may not start over again for recovery.
Right. And that's one thing that you mentioned too. You got to know yourself. You got to know your triggers. That goes for anything, whether like we talked about the other addiction. Yeah. You got to know what you can handle and what you can't. Be honest with yourself. Don't put yourself in compromising positions when you know that you are fighting for your life. And that's what we're doing. And that's why here at CocoLife.Black, our goal is to create those resources, right? We see the same things happening in our Black maternal health. That was one of the main reasons why I became a postpartum doula. And that's the main reason why we came together to launch this initiative around CocoLife.Black. And like Ava says, they get incentivized, right, on writing scripts from the pharmaceutical companies. And if it aligns with approved diagnosis, exactly. So all of those people from, and this is no offense because I have family that was in this field, but from the pharmaceutical sales reps to the pharmaceutical companies to the doctors, and keep this in mind too, right? Doctors no longer get paid based on time, right?
Period.
Tell
them that, Tell them.
So, and I know this from an insurance perspective, having worked in these claims and seeing this process. They don't get compensated anymore for quality; it's quantity. So when y'all going in there for them 15-minute appointment, you need a prescription. You just need a prescription. Guess what?
And why it's
That is
so hard for you to get them appointments
why
and
it's
them
so
follow-up
hard.
appointments?
We're not taking any new appointments, but you just need a prescription. Call us in a prescription to Walgreens. Okay, we'll call. The reason why is
And we're seeing
because
you within the last 30 days, so we're allowed to send
it's
you a script
fine,
without seeing you again.
or we're used to it. Here's the twist too. That's why so often too PCPs are pushed, primary care physicians. That's why
Yeah.
too so often, a quality incentive nurse, right? And we need more people like that in the medical field that put quality over quantity. And Ronnie says, yes, addiction in the bloodline goes to anything. Your mom is addicted to drugs, but you could be addicted to alcohol or porn, right? Or even eating. You gotta know your blood. So this
Addiction
all
shows up
ties
in
back
different ways.
to
Yeah.
education.
Yeah.
So this is why we gotta have these conversations in the middle of the day at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, because you are just that important. We are just that important. Our community is just that important. If it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a community to support the family, then we got to have these conversations. But in addition to that, we got to give the education and the resources to get better. So as we close out just
and
this
give people
conversation,
permission to take control of their own life.
so that's what I was going to say. As we close out this conversation, if you could just share some resources that you, like you said, you did your research, share some resources that you found helpful with those who are on this way. When they share it, you know, they have some further access where they can just get started, just to get started. Disclaimer, we are not medical professionals. We are not certified mental or licensed mental health professionals or doctors or anything like that. We are women who love our Black communities, who love ourselves and want our communities to feel the same way. So we're just sharing resources where you can start. It's up to you to seek medical and professional support.
Period.
On it. Okay, go ahead.
Period. Right, because y'all know we a whole company, and so we ain't trying to have y'all say we told y'all to do shit. No, we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't.
We said we love y'all.
We are not professional mental health people, but I done seen enough to know a little bit. And we ain't no doctors, but I definitely done seen enough for them to know a little bit too. And the resources is simple. You want to look up, we Google everything else, right? We Google how to get to restaurants. We Google, what's some good place to eat. Google what pills you want. That once you start there. Google the pills that you want. Look at those side effects. Look at those symptoms. Then type it in, and all the pills that you take together, type them in. And look at how those drugs interact with each other. And then that's going to explain to you your mood. That's going to explain to you your body conditions. That's going to explain to you why you now got to go see all these sub-doctors because your liver messed up, because of this messed up, because those are side effects. Thing two, you want to be like, damn, am I addicted? This is how you know. Try to miss a dose. If you take your shit every 6 hours, try to miss a dose. Get to about that 7th hour. Are you angry? Is your mood shifted? Are you sweating profusely? Are you depressed? Is your anxiety? Are you having changes in your emotion? Are you having changes in your physical piece? You might be addicted, bro. You might be addicted, sis. Teeth falling out, all of that. No judgment. We don't judge here. We can't judge. We raggedy as shit ourselves. I'm way raggedy. But we are here because we're part of this community that we're cultivating too. And like I think a wise man once said, old Black historian said, I'm not only the client, I'm the clinic president. In the words of the Honorable Biggie Smalls. Right. And so you got to be your own president, man. You got to be the own clinic for your own healing journey. Be your own pain management doctor. Get some mental health support, especially when you're trying to recover. I went in psych ward for 2 weeks before I went to rehab. Yeah. But even when I was in psych ward, I was cussing the nurses out because she wouldn't give me my Percocets. And so what they do, they gave me my Percocet because I was on the psych ward already, and she already know. She was outnumbered. So and get my juice cup and my Percocet. And
Right.
so you have to be able to know that you are more than that doctor. You are a client to that doctor. That doctor gonna prescribe you and 12 other people the same damn prescription because y'all complained about the same thing.
No matter
It
what.
may not work for you. It may not work for you. I can tell you now with 100% certainty, I take this pain over that pill any day.
Yeah.
Because that pill costs me so much. And we can get into it for another show, but that pill cost me so much
Yeah.
that it wasn't worth it. At the end of the day, it ain't worth it. At the end of the day, I'd rather have this pain because the addiction part of it, they can keep that. And
Yeah.
I just thank y'all for tuning in. As Alexia said, man, we here on a Tuesday because it's a Tip Tuesday. And when we had our conversation earlier, we got to jump on live.
Yep.
Because we knew that this was a conversation that we had to share with you guys too. So we appreciate you guys tuning in for your input, as always, for y'all support. Y'all seen them dope ass Coco Mom photo shoot pictures that we dropped. Wait till y'all see the rest of
Woo!
it.
And more to come with the photos, with our commercial
All that.
premiere. Because
Period.
we got a commercial premiering. So yeah, agreed. Thank you so much for joining us today. Go follow you already if you are not already following. Follow CocoLife.Black. We're dropping it here, and then also go follow the T Pearson Experience. Make sure you go ahead and book yourself. The summer is here. So you might as well go ahead and have a great time. We still doing a lot of digital things and virtual things, but there's also some in-person stuff if you are in the DMV area. Thank you so much, Gemma. Thank you so much, Team Amari and Team Fonzie, for tuning in.
And let's talk about this. So Team Fonzie and Shantae, they doing that 30-day challenge for the TLC. I think I said it right. So join that page. They work out live at 10 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
Y'all can join that little workout situation. And y'all see, we done dropped our little pounds. I done lost the same size as the 40-inch TV.
And health coach. So please get in touch with us.
She's my coach, my health coach.
Hey,
Cheeseburger, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up?
What's up, bro? So listen, we got folks that's shaking. Ave, go follow her.
Yes.
Veronica on here, go follow her. My good sis Gemma.
Yep.
Man, we got all kinds of folks in our community
that are doing
on every post. And every post, man, they go in.
Yep.
Hit them people's things. Hit their profile. Follow them. See what they got going on there. With like, you might need them. You might need their resources. This is our community.
Or somebody you know may need
Gemma,
them.
what you talking about?
She just talking about who to follow. It's so many. You got to just go back
everybody
and just go back and follow everybody because again, we're building community. So you know those loops y'all see, follow. Just go follow. There's so many resources that's out there,
and so we
want to share, and they're real people. So we thank y'all so much for tuning in. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. Stay tuned with us. We got a hitter for y'all next week on a Coco Connect. Okay, the millennial mom is coming to join us. She is amazing. She's phenomenal. She's a mom of two. She's a wife. She's an educator. Bria Love. We are so excited about her joining this amazing conversation. And y'all are just going to, I'm dropping her chat in there. So y'all are just going to love.
The workout at 10, Gemma, that's right there above you. The fit, them, Slick, and Fonzie. Shantae and Keita. Tag Gemma in y'all workout post so she can join y'all at 10.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we love y'all for real. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. See y'all.
Peace, love, and hair grease, folks.